And welcome back, everyone, to Overtime. As we teased earlier, we have a guest in the house. And I tell you what, this guest brings a little flavor to the Delta News studio here on the couch. We say flavor because his name is none other than Isaac Peppers,
Yes, sir,
former
yes, sir.
Greenville High standout who just wrapped up his career, his college football career
Yes, sir.
at Jackson State. I love Jackson State. And he is here joining us on Overtime to talk
sir.
about his career at Jackson State, a standout career, not only at Jackson State, but at Pine Bluff as well. We'll dive into that and also dive into his next phase of his career, which we hope will be in the NFL or
Yes, sir.
somewhere on the pro level. But Isaac, thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know it's been a very busy schedule because
Yes,
you're
sir.
working out now,
Yes,
trying
sir.
to get
Yes,
ready
sir.
for the pros.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully, as we mentioned, that somebody will give you that shot on that next level. But you just wrapped up your graduate senior year, if
Yes,
you will,
sir.
at Jackson State this past year, where you were outstanding linebacker, second team All-SWAC. You led Jackson State in tackles. You led Jackson State in sacks. You led Jackson State in tackles for loss. Wasn't anything this guy couldn't do this past season for Jackson State's defense. He was one of the key leaders, and only 1 year at Jackson State because you played your first few years at Pine Bluff and
Yes, sir.
decided after you graduated from Pine Bluff to transfer
Yes,
for
sir.
your final year of eligibility to Jackson State. What went into that decision to leave Pine Bluff to come back to your home state and play for the I Love?
Yes, sir. Well, leaving Pine Bluff, my last year there, I ended up getting injured, catching tendonitis in my rotator cuff. They set me out for the season. And with all the things going on around there, head coach being fired and stuff like that, I just felt like I needed a change in my environment. So I just hit the transfer portal. I prayed to God, he held me down. And I felt like it was for a reason, because God knew I was going to go to Jackson State. He knew what I was going to do at Jackson State. So I just thank God for that every day.
Was it a difficult decision, though, to make? Was it one that you kind of went back and forth on, or you knew right from the start when you entered your name in the transfer portal and Jackson State came calling, it was a no-brainer?
It was a no-brainer for me to hit transfer portal because I felt like my times came to an end. It was time for me to open a new chapter in my life, a new book, and start writing on that. So it was a no-brainer for me to go and hit the transfer portal, yes, sir.
And you were telling me before we started here on the couch with the interview part that your mom and dad
Yes, sir.
both went to Jackson State. Did they influence you at all as far as making a decision?
No, sir, not really, but going on a visit there, like, you can see and you can tell, like, with all the memories going back to them, like, how much they enjoyed it. And it just meant something to me. And with all that, then before I even went to college, coming out of high school, they always implanted going to Jackson State in my head and stuff like that. So I feel like it wasn't just for me, it was for my mother and father as well. Yes, sir.
And I know, too, that you go to Jackson State and you make an immediate impact right away. If I'm not mistaken, named defensive MVP that opening game, All-SWAC.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Challenger
sir.
of the season, and
Yes,
then you go
sir.
throughout your year and
Yes,
you
sir.
lead the team in tackles, and as I mentioned, sacks, tackles for loss, so on and so forth. Were you expecting to have this kind of season, or has it been a surprise to you?
Well, I went in knowing that I was gonna be the best that I can be and the best that anybody else got to offer me. So I went in thinking that I was gonna do what I intended on doing. Like, I was gonna lead the defense and tackles, lead them in sacks, all this. It's just as well. I just didn't think I'll, do it the way that I did it, but I knew I was gonna, be successful going to Jackson State. Yes, sir.
And you were also successful at Pine Bluff. Let's
Yes, sir.
backtrack, because Pine Bluff, at one time during the season, you were a two-time SWAC Player of the Week. You
Yes, sir.
also named the All-SWAC second team while you were at Pine Bluff. So
Yes, sir.
Pine Bluff pretty much kind of set the table and kind of got you rooted to the player that you've become, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had plenty of success at Pine Bluff, and I'm grateful for that as well. Being named Defensive Player of the Week 2 times, Box Toro All-American, second team All-Conference. I was just blessed to receive the accolades that I did and the development that I did going to Pine Bluff. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I tell you what, Isaac, don't go anywhere because we're going to take a short break, but when we return, we're going to talk about your days at Greenville High and how much this town, this city here, and the people here help mold and make you the person that you are today. We'll be right back with Pep, as they call him, Isaac Peppers, here at the Delta News studio here on Overtime. Much more in just a moment.